KORK North Bay, your source for news and happenings throughout the North Bay.
Hello and thanks for watching KORK North Bay TV. Coming up is our weekly wrap covering all the news stories and happenings that took place this past week throughout the greater San Francisco North Bay. On Wednesday in Sonoma Valley, just a few miles south of the town in a suburb area called Shellville, a small plane crash occurred that injured 3 people. This incident took place at about 4:20 in the afternoon at Sonoma Valley Airport, which is right along Highway 121 as you're entering the south end of the valley, where a small single-engine plane came in for a landing that went bad and sent it off the runway, where it flipped over on its side in a ditch. As you can see, there was quite a bit of damage done to the aircraft, making it almost unrecognizable. Inside the plane were the pilot and 2 passengers. All 3 sustained injuries ranging from minor to major, but all 3 were able to get themselves out of the aircraft before crews arrived from the Sonoma Valley Fire District and the Shellville Fire Protection District. 2 of the people on board weren't too badly injured, so one was transported by ground to a local hospital, but the other refused to be transported. Unfortunately, the 3rd person was injured pretty badly and was airlifted by a CHP helicopter to a trauma center for treatment. At this time, there's no word what the actual cause of the crash was, but that day was one of the rather wild weather days that went from calm to gusty winds to fairly clear skies to drizzle and spotty rain. So without too much speculation, there's a possibility that it could have been caused by a sudden weather or wind change. If we find out more, we'll bring it to you. In the town of Sonoma, the police department is asking for the public's help in identifying a man who is wanted for stealing a woman's purse from a restaurant on the town's plaza. According to the report, this suspect somehow managed to steal the purse, which was described as a very expensive purse with valuable contents inside, while the woman was seated at the bar. Her purse was hanging from a hook underneath the bar in front of her, so police believe that this guy has done this before and has a method. The incident was captured on a surveillance camera, but only a static picture of the suspect was released. Police are asking for the public's help in identifying this man, so if you recognize him, please call them at 707-996-3602. In Rohnert Park on Wednesday, a deputy sheriff was injured while scuffling with a suspect who was seen by a witness checking for unlocked gates and doors. This incident occurred at about 7 o'clock in the evening after a call came into the sheriff's office from a resident on the southeastern side of town on Petaluma Hill Road, which is a rural area with fields, farmlands, and homes. The caller said they saw a man walking northbound along Petaluma Hill Road, just south of where Snyder Lane starts, checking gates and the doors of homes to see if any of them were unlocked. So a deputy responded to the area and spotted a man walking northbound along the road who matched the description given to them by the caller. So the deputy stopped to question the man. The deputy was able to identify the man as 32-year-old Felix Marino, a resident of Santa Rosa, who was apparently out on probation for his last run-in with the law, which was described as charges for resisting an officer. Apparently this time wasn't much different because as the deputy tried to talk to Marino, he was again uncooperative and kept concealing his hands and then took off running. But the officer was able to catch up to him and take him to the ground to get him into custody. But Marino wasn't done yet because now an all-out wrestling match was now taking place between Marino and the deputy that lasted for several minutes before a second deputy arrived as backup. That second deputy jumped in to assist his co-worker to get Marino cuffed, which brought the physical altercation to an end, but not without injuries to both Marino and the deputy. A medical unit was called to the scene who transported Marino to the hospital for treatment and medical clearance so he could be booked into Sonoma County Jail. Marino was also found to be in possession of methamphetamine. The officer sustained the worst of the injuries between the two with a fractured elbow, so he too received medical treatment. We hope the officer makes a full recovery. If you live in Sonoma County and have children in school, this story is really going to make you angry. In fact, even if you don't have children in school, this story is going to make you angry as well. We're not going to get into every detail about this story, so we'll just give you the short and to the point version of it. If you live in the county and follow the news, you've probably heard about the school districts closing down schools due to budget shortfalls. Well, as budget shortfalls continue, 80 Santa Rosa School District employees recently received their notices of being laid off. But those layoffs aren't what this story is about or what's going to make a lot of you angry. No, it's this part. In spite of the shortfalls to keep schools open or 80 employees able to keep their jobs, a recent school board vote was taken to give the current superintendent, Luz Cazares, a $76,000 raise. Not a standard cost of living raise or even a 5 or 10% raise that most people would be thrilled about getting, but a $76,000 raise on top of her current salary of more than $110,000. But here's the kicker. That raise is only for an additional 50 days of work and not for the whole year. The school board members who voted for this decision said that the raise was for additional work that Ms. Cazares was having to do over and above her normal work. That's an almost 70% raise for doing 50 days worth of work before her end of the year term is up. Boy, don't we wish we all could get a $76,000 a year raise for working just 50 days. That's more than a lot of people make for the whole year. And again, it's almost 70% more than she already makes, all while several schools have closed already, with 3 more set to close at the end of June, and 80 district workers who were just laid off. This doesn't even get into the 200 other school district workers who were already laid off in the past year due to budget shortfalls. That's the short and simple of the story, and probably just one of the reasons this county school district can't manage a budget and is millions of dollars in the hole with no real way of getting out of it, especially when they're handing out enormous raises like this. In the town of Healdsburg, a suspect made it especially easy to get himself arrested after a vandalizing incident because a suspect vandalized the police station while officers were inside it. No, you can't make this stuff up. This incident took place on Sunday when a suspect identified as 18-year-old Alexis Martinez decided to walk into the Healdsburg police station and start acting erratically. Right away, the officers and staff could tell that Martinez was under the influence of a controlled substance, so officers tried to keep things calm and de-escalate the situation. But Martinez wasn't having any of that and continued on his aggressive and belligerent tirade in the lobby. After Martinez was done, he walked back out of the building and grabbed a rock, then proceeded to throw that rock at one of the station's windows, breaking it, which rained glass shards down on a worker sitting below that window. But thankfully, none of those glass shards got into an eye or caused any injury. So the officers at the scene moved in on Martinez to take him into custody. But apparently, he wasn't done yet because according to the report, he began resisting the officers, but he was outnumbered and they got him cuffed and placed into the back of a patrol unit to transport him to the county jail. But Martinez still wasn't done yet because then he began trying to kick out the windows of the police car, so he was restrained to prevent him from doing that and transported to the county jail where he was booked for felony vandalism and violating his probation while he was out on bail. Yes, you heard me right, while he was out on bail, because this was his 11th arrest in the past year. In Suisun City, the police department is asking for the public's help in identifying a man who they want to talk to about a fire incident that they believe was suspicious. Earlier this month on Wednesday, May 13th at about 10:40 at night, a fire broke out at the town's Walmart store. The store was immediately evacuated and the Suisun Fire Department was quickly at the scene to get the fire put out. This image is the person of interest who police want to identify and speak to because they say he was seen in the area when the fire started. They aren't saying that this man is a suspect, but they do want to speak with him about what he may have seen around the time that the fire started. So if anyone recognizes this man, please call the Suisun Police Department at 707-421-7373. This broadcast is sponsored by Mike Larbury Automotive. 5-star ratings for all of your domestic and import automotive repair needs, located on Highway 12 in Sonoma. Mention you saw them here on KORK TV to receive a special discount. And also by Sonoma Paint Center, your source for all of your home and automotive paint and supply needs.
Transform your home or business with Sonoma Paint Center. As your local Benjamin Moore retailer, we've got everything you need to paint inside and out, plus top quality stains. Step inside our Santa Rosa location or visit us in Sonoma, Sebastopol, and now our newest location in Napa. From vibrant colors to durable finishes and required supplies, we'll help you bring your vision to life. Sonoma Paint Center, serving you in Santa Rosa, Sonoma, Sebastopol, and now Napa. Sonoma Paint Center, color your world.
Well, that's it for our weekly wrap. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We'll see you again on Monday for our weekend wrap. Remember, you can watch us on our website at KORKTV.com or on our YouTube channel. Just search for KORK North Bay TV. And if you watch us on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to us. We'd sure appreciate it. We'd like to wish everyone a safe, happy, and healthy weekend. Thanks for watching.